You love with TCL. These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
I just took it personal and took it upon myself to show that I don't care who I'm going against. I'm still going to play the same way as I would play if I'm going against somebody that's not the Lakers. So I kind of took it personal to come out and try to uplift my team and keep us within the game as much as we could.
Ant didn't care what the name on the yellow jerseys was last night.
I like that kid. I like this kid.
That might have been his best game as a rookie so far in what, two and a half months. I guess we go look and see. I don't think he scored 30. He scored 28 last night. But let's start off the show here. Mackey and Judd, Declan. This is a Write That Down Wednesday. We are the only show in America that keeps track of our predictions, holds each other accountable. We face the music when we predict things, unlike most other national and local talking heads. We'll do that on the show today. But Judd, you posed a question to us as we were texting and emailing about that Wolves game last night. I think we should start
as
the
we
show
often
with you
do
posing that question. Yeah.
So we of course got the news on Tuesday evening, right before the Wolves tipped off against Lakers, that our guy D'Lo traded for a year ago now. So
Dude, that's nuts.
There should be a large sample size, boys, a large sample size of Cat and his buddy playing basketball. That he is now going to miss 4 to 6 weeks to have a loose body cleared out of his knee. So he's going to have arthroscopic surgery. And my question, because in 1 year, Cat and D'Lo have played 5 games together. 1 last year, 4 this year.
That's amazing.
My question was very, very simple. Is this now a lost year for the Wolves based on the fact that the biggest goal when Gerson made that trade and basically swapped out almost the entire damn roster at the what would have been the 2020 NBA trade deadline? Is this a lost season because realistically we are not going to get anything probably close now to a complete answer of what the Cat D'Lo combination could look like?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. All right. I'm going to go.
Oh, this isn't how it works.
I'm going to turn the tables here. Okay. You ask, is this a lost season?
Dex is confused
without D'Lo.
I don't know what to do here.
Get ready to put a new topic bar on the bottom of the screen with my question.
All right.
Okay. because my question is for the loyal Mackey and Judd SKOR North YouTube audience. That's right. You can find our show every day on YouTube.
Maybe do some work, Declan.
Maybe do your job over there. Huh?
Why don't you stick
You're in the penalty
to
box.
just stick to seltzers
I'll
over
stick
there?
to
Okay.
seltzers. And in relationships, yeah.
Because the question that I would pose to you is this a found season for the Timberwolves without D'Lo?
Oh, and then I would ask you to explain that.
Sure. I think I've already made up my mind on D'Lo, fair or unfair. And I think it's probably a little unfair just because, he's only, like you say, he's only played 5 games with Cat. The grand experiment was putting these two guys together. They're great friends off the court. There's a chemistry, and D'Lo's D'Lo is a pick and roll player. He's a pretty good pick and roll player, and Cat is a great pick and roll popper and roller, right? Mm-hmm. We still don't really know what that pairing looks like, but I feel like I've given D'Lo more chances than, like, I've given him a chance without Cat to show that he can carry the load and be a driving force as a max player with a fresh start, an organization that's empowering him and giving him the ball and probably giving him more leeway and leash than Brooklyn did a couple years ago. And after seeing D'Lo for the last year and change, mostly without Cat, and seeing Ant for like 2 months, including last night against the Lakers,
sure,
I'm more interested in the Cat and Ant pairing than I am in the Cat and D'Lo pairing. If you want to blend the names together, I guess we could call it the Cant. The Cant pairing.
That would be very Timberwolves
like.
Yeah, the Cant.
Cantlow.
Edwards last night under the spotlight with Cat in foul trouble in the first half, puts up 28 points on 20 shots, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. And this is going to sound corny, but he hits that pretty big 3 in the final minutes. I think it cut the lead to like 5 with a minute and a half left or something. It was like, oh, the Wolves are still in this.
Yeah, no.
Edwards just drilled a 3,
yeah,
and he turns around and he smiles at LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was awesome. And some people were making fun of me because I tweeted it. Oh, like Johnny Flynn's smile. Do not put Anthony Edwards and Johnny Flynn in the same sentence. Do not put Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Edwards in the same sentence.
Only a tortured Wolves fan could equate Johnny Flynn with anyone.
Right. God. I love this kid's energy. I love his game. I think his personality and his style are, and just in terms of like the way that he plays and the energy that he brings, I think it's a great compliment or even a contrast to Cat in some ways. I think Anthony Edwards has a better chance to be the Batman that we've all talked about, with Karl-Anthony Towns sliding into more of a Robin role. I think like Anthony Davis needed the Batman, right? Karl-Anthony Towns, if he's gonna become a contender on a team, probably isn't going to be the leader and the face and the voice. It's just not really his DNA and personality. Anthony Edwards, if he reaches his peak potential, I think can be that. And Dex has a clip here of Dwayne Wade on TNT last night giving thoughts on the first couple months of Anthony Edwards.
Get a lot better. And so watching him get better in college and now in the pros, I mean, it's so great, man. So I definitely think he can be a better player than I was.
Really?
He has all the tools. Yeah, man, you set a bar and you set the bar so people can jump over that bar. And I think he has the talent to be able to jump over a bar that I set it. So I hope he do it. I hope he becomes a way better player than I ever was.
I mean, let that soak in for a second.
That's very impressive. Yeah.
That's one of the best players of the last 25 years in the NBA, a first ballot Hall of Famer, and a guy that has a similar game to Anthony Edwards, that sort of energy, get to the rim. Anthony Edwards probably long-term a better shooter than Dwayne Wade, but that's where I'm at. I don't think it's a lost season if you find the Cat-Ant pairing down the stretch here without D'Lo.
I like it. I see this in two different ways. One is it is a bit of a lost year based upon the trade that was supposed to make this team competitive. Like, we're not supposed to be here right now. You don't have a first round pick be top 3 protected because your GM says, I think there's a good chance we might have a top 3 pick. But if we don't, we'll be fine. You make that trade because you're convinced that you're not going to be that bad and that you're probably going to be competitive for a playoff spot, right? So in that sense, we are not going to, unfortunately, it looks like we are not going to find out what the supposed sort of veteran pairing could have done. So that's a bad thing. Like, I can't justify that and spin that to a good. That being said, when it comes to Ant, here's what I absolutely love. So we always talk about alphas, right? It factors, right? Like, we talk about these things. And it's sort of a nebulous conversation in the sense that I don't think that we often really explain it. Like, we talk about, like, Jordan. Well, yeah. Oh, LeBron. Yeah. Okay. But you know what Ant has? And in his own way, he has an it factor and an alpha factor in his own way, that he is perfectly comfortable being himself and leading that way. And it might not be the Butler, I'm going to get in your face, I want to fight you factor, but you don't need that. What you need is a person with a personality, right? That people gravitate towards. And then the most important thing off of that is a simple question. Can you play? Because, like, I could be the most respected guy ever, but if I can't play, you're eventually going to say, guess what? You can't play.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio at times.
So you can't do that.
He was better last night. But
You can't. But what Ant has is, I think, in his own way, he very much has a personality and the ability to become the dominant figure or face of this team. And if this works, and I caution you now, okay? It's early. It's the Wolves. A lot can and likely will go wrong.
Or can't.
But let's just say that this starts to play out in a positive way. He's the type of guy that could make coming here to play a cool thing.
Wow.
Because he's a really likable, but I mean, I think
you
people are going to.
You just went further than that.
I think people are going to gravitate towards him.
You just recruited Kevin Durant. You just went the next step.
I think that there's going to be a young base of players who, if Ant is as good as he looks like he could be, I think he's a person people gravitate towards.
Hold on. Just hold on.
Hot Take Cops is recorded on location with the men and women of sports talk. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in Hot Take Court.
All right, just listen. This is mostly just like
I warned you.
It's toward the end of the month. I got to hit my quota.
I
right?
started this segment by saying there's a lot that probably will go wrong, okay? I issued a disclaimer. I'm just saying that what this guy brings from a playing standpoint, and most importantly, to a certain degree as well, a personality standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cat's not that guy. Like Cat is the superstar of this team in the sense that his abilities and for a big man to shoot threes, it's fantastic. But it is very safe to say that Cat is never going to be the dominant personality of his team. He's just not.
I agree. He's had a chance. You know, it's one thing to give a guy a chance to be, 19, 20, 21 years old. When you get into like age 25, 26, you're either the bona fide leader and like your personality as a basketball player has taken shape. He is an amazing, especially offensive basketball player, and he's been getting better defensively too. He disappeared a little bit in the fourth quarter last night, got into foul trouble. There's still some things here. And
I think pass to him again too.
Yeah,
they forget about him, and it's very bizarre.
And there's still there's a whole layer of like coaching on top of this and roster. Like there's so many other layers that are going into this, and you have to figure them out.
Absolutely.
But I agree with your sentiment that the Timberwolves are just a miserable franchise. And I get that they're trying with Ryan's positivity and Gerson's positivity, and they're trying so hard to turn this semi-truck around, this Titanic that's just been sunk for the better part of 16 years,
but
right?
They're wedged in between.
And most
walls.
New players come in, Ryan Saunders comes in fresh-faced as a new coach, and players come in right away. It's like, all right, we're going to turn this thing around. And then 5 minutes later, they realize the magnitude of how screwed this franchise has been. And then it starts to wear on them, and you see it. And I get that Anthony Edwards is only a couple months into this thing. And so at some point, he could look weathered and gray-bearded as a 20-year-old. But I just love the fact that he seems to have his own rhythm that he marches to, and he's going to have a smile, and he's confident. And when you watch him play last night, okay, in his mind, I think he thinks he's the best player on that court. Like, he looks over at LeBron, and LeBron definitely dusted him defensively a couple of times and put him in the spin cycle. And I think he knows he's playing against the greatest player of all time, or at least the greatest player of his lifetime. But in his mind, that doesn't deter him from going right at LeBron. And so I love all of those things. And on the D'Lo front, just to put a bow on the D'Lo part of this, I think the best thing you can say about D'Lo right now is, well, I mean, once he plays with Cat, then maybe he'll be better. Like, because we're watching him without Cat, and we're saying, okay, he is a Hoover vacuum for offensive possessions. The ball movement stops with him. He loves to dribble around and find his own, and sometimes it works, and he'll score 30 points, and he'll be fairly efficient. And he's a fairly efficient 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but the game stops with him.
He gets lost defensively.
Yeah,
the ball movement stops. He's not big enough to Ant Edwards is big enough to sort of will his way to the rim on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
D'Angelo is got to be more of a finesse player. And so like we're really sitting here after a year saying, well, it's tough to really gauge D'Lo because you got to wait until Cat comes back. Well, everybody's a better player when they're playing with Cat. The Wolves are paying D'Lo max money to be a driving force for wins. Even like when you look at the games without Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm not saying that, listen, D'Lo's got to carry them to a 500 record without Cat. I am not saying that. But in the 18 games without Karl-Anthony Towns and with D'Lo this season, the Wolves are 3-15, and most of those losses were blowouts by like 10, 15, 25 points. And do you guys remember the first game? So last night they played the Lakers. They played them tough without D'Lo. I get that Anthony Davis wasn't playing, and that probably made a big difference. So I'm not going to go too far with this. But the first game after Karl-Anthony Towns re-aggravated or hurt his wrist and had to sit out
against the Jazz.
The third game.
The win against the Jazz, yeah.
No, I'm saying the first game without Cat.
Oh, yeah.
Because he played in the first two games, right?
Against the Jazz. He got hurt.
The third game was the Lakers, and that was the first game without Karl-Anthony Towns. All right, D'Lo, listen, we don't expect you to win this game, okay? But Cat's out. And so going to need something from you tonight to make this a competitive game. They got beat by 40. And D'Lo had 4 points and 7 turnovers.
And Ant didn't play well and said, last night, I was embarrassed. That's what I like about him, though. He gets it. He gets it. And the thing, too, that he does that's just, it sounds weird, but it's a positive, is he doesn't brood constantly. I feel like the Wolves have just had a long line of guys that sort of brood or that try and justify themselves. He doesn't do that. He's up front. It's great. I have no idea. It might work. It's the Wolves. It might not. What I am saying is I do think that we are seeing a progression in his first year that is a positive for sure. But again, you don't make the trade that Gerson made to now sweat that top 3 protected pick. That's the problem.
Yeah.
This whole thing was supposed to be competitive this year.
I will say
that was the goal.
If they wind up and they're going to wind up almost certainly, even if the Ant Edwards and Cat pairing works out very well in the second half I think the second half of the schedule gets released at some point here soon in the next couple weeks.
We haven't seen.
We don't really know what it looks like. They play until May. I think they're going to wind up with one of the 3 worst records in the NBA, even if that pairing does start to click.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that happens, they'll have a 40% chance to keep their pick this year. It would be really nice in a draft with some potential stars to have a shot at one of them to add to this collection. But I think with Anthony Edwards, the potential of him being a Dwayne Wade caliber player, as spoken by Dwayne Wade. So it's not even like Dwayne Wade is saying it. Take his word. Don't take mine.
Yep.
The door is still open for him to be a Dwayne Wade caliber player and be one of these guys that can carry a team through the playoffs, right? I think that door has closed on D'Lo. I think you would have seen it by now. I'm not saying that he can't be a decent player or a positive contributor.
We still have no clue.
But I think we do have a clue that he's not going to be a Dwayne Wade or a James Harden caliber player that will carry a team, right? I think D'Lo's career, I think Ant Edwards' career, it's like 30% he becomes a mega superstar, and like 70% he's just a really good Energizer Bunny, like whatever, like a good contributing second or third best player on a team.
Yep. I think
the chances of him being a complete and utter bust and anchor for your like boat anchor for your team that sinks it is almost zero. And I think D'Lo's career path is essentially at this point one of 2 things. He's either going to be a high usage player on losing teams like Stephon Marbury was, or like Steve Francis in the early 2000s. Those
I love Steve Francis.
Those high usage guards that made all-star games, but their teams were terrible.
Great
right?
stat stuff for them.
Stevie franchise, great fantasy player.
That I owned him like twice.
Yeah, I mean he put
he was
up
fantastic.
Near triple doubles, but like his team. Go look at Stevie franchise played like 10 years in the NBA. Two winning teams basically in 10 years, right?
I didn't care.
Stephon Marbury, kind of the same thing. I think if you're the Timberwolves, you have to look in the mirror and say, if that's the type of player he is, do we want him to be a max player on our team long term, or should we look to move off?
That's why you'd like to find out more, though.
Or
a little exploration.
Or the other path could be he's a spark scorer for like 25, 30-minute chunks off the bench or in smaller spurts like a Jamal Crawford or a Lou Williams or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Can he fit that role with this team? And of course, like, can you at some point pay him less than max money for that to happen?
He's a max player. That's the problem with that.
So, but I would just I'm not giving up on the D'Lo Cat thing, but I'm much more interested.
Who would love
the
Ant?
other parent.
Who would absolutely love him?
KG?
Jimmy Butler.
Oh.
Jimmy Butler would have loved Ant.
He's kind of a mini Jimmy.
But right? I mean, he works hard.
Like
and
he's a more positive version.
He's confident.
He's bizarro Jimmy Butler.
I do think, as much as I didn't like how he went about his business here, I think the one thing with Butler that he sussed out pretty quickly and was right about is he was playing with a pack of brooders. A lot of guys who brood. A lot of guys who it's not my night, things aren't going well. I mean,
what was me?
Yeah. I mean, think about when Ricky Rubio has to tell guys to change this face. You got problems. You got brooders. Last thing about that game last night. As a guy who has packed on some pounds the past year, pandemic pounds, it's been very tough.
Pandemic pounds.
Can I make an assessment or ask a question? Marc Gasol. My God, the fact, dude, that you are playing professional sports still, and you're good, like you're damn good still. and you look like you didn't get off the couch for 6 months is maybe the most impressive sports account. Forget LeBron, forget Ovechkin, Gretzky. I don't care. Marc Gasol's my new hero.
Too much DoorDash for Marc Gasol.
Did you guys see him?
Yeah, I know.
Did you guys? I mean, he was literally
I think he used to look a little bit like that when he was a young player, and then he got super lean.
Okay.
And now he doesn't look quite as lean. He doesn't look like
nice way to put it.
He's
Phil.
not quite Oliver Miller from the 90s out there.
But I'm saying
Google Oliver Miller if you're a young basketball fan.
No, but I'm saying the last time I saw him, I don't recall him looking like that. And, we've all gained weight. Pandemic. I'm absolving him. I'm telling you, it's impressive.
Yeah, I think he's definitely just because I don't think he's won a championship yet, right? Did he poach one from somebody on the bench? He played for the Grizzlies for so long.
I have no idea.
I think
a player.
In his mind, he's like, listen, I didn't sign up for Anthony Davis to almost tear his Achilles and play a bunch of minutes here. I was literally just hoping to wave a towel on the bench and pick up a championship ring. And now you guys are asking me to actually play? This is ridiculous.
Pandemic's been tough on me, man. Come on.
By the way, a shout out to Federated Mutual Insurance Company, which recently launched My Shield, the online client destination for risk management resources. If you're a business owner out there, if you're a business owner who loves Minnesota sports, then Federated, who's had a partnership with the Timberwolves for a long time, how helpful would it be for you to have employee training at your fingertips, industry resources that can help your business reach another level of success? Do your employees use ladders? Do they have company vehicles? Think about the things that involve risk. MyShield comes in with resources and expertise to help you put together materials and to help make sure that you are protected as a business owner. Federatedinsurance.com. Just click on MyShield or download the app. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Also, while we're on the subject of self-promotion here, Purple Daily, we have had, I think, the two most popular episodes of Purple Daily on the year so far have dropped in the last 5 days. The Kirk Cousins trade rumors episode from last weekend, and then the episode with Courtney yesterday is also sort of off to the races, where we discuss and speculate on big changes for the Vikings and just the things that they may have to confront here, starting maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. So go check out Purple Daily, Apple, Spotify, SKORNorth.com, and YouTube. Write that down on this Wednesday. Write that down, predictions and an accountability session coming up.